Welcome again to our next speaker here during our Food Freedom Festival. What are you really craving? And I'm so happy today to have Denise Stegall with you. Denise will talk about the Living Healthy List method. Eat real food, make good decisions, and be accountable. And we'll also share an amazing gift at the end with you. Now, Denise is the CEO and curator of livinghealthylist.com. And as an inspirational thought leader with 25 years experience, you really don't look that, Denise. She is determined to provide Living Healthy List readers with honest, reliable, research-backed information on health, wellness, personal development, and fun that can be implemented in real life. Welcome, Denise.
Thank you so much for having me here today, Andrea. I really appreciate it.
I was really looking forward to having you here actually, because you have an interesting career. You started back with a bachelor's degree in hotel, restaurant, and business management with really a love for nutrition. So I wonder how and what brought you to become CEO and curator of the Living Healthy List?
I think it's always interesting when you go to college, you never really know where your career is going to take you. And I think when I was in college and studying hotel restaurant business management, nutrition, food, I honestly think it was the food piece that I loved the most. And the food piece in that there was a food revolution starting when I was in college. We were looking at more plant-based um, foods really. We were getting away from really heavy food, a lot of fried foods, so we were really starting that healthy food revolution, and it was really exciting to be part of that. So that's really where my career started. And I worked in hotels, I worked in restaurants, I worked in catering, so I did all of those things. But then as my career continued, I dabbled into a little some different things. I worked for a medical education company. I worked in meeting planning. I was a corporate meeting planner for a bunch of years, which interesting was how I met my husband.
Mhm.
And I think at some point when I moved to Rochester, Minnesota, which is basically in the middle of nowhere, I needed to figure out where I wanted to go with my career. I was no longer working in the corporate world, so I started coaching. All of my background in nutrition, it really made sense. It was that next step. But what I was finding when I was coaching was there was that one-off client. You'd find a good client, and then you'd have to spend a lot of time on the internet trying to find that next client, or even more difficult, to help that client to find me. And so as the years went on, I realized that if I was having trouble connecting with the right client, the person that I could truly help, that they were having trouble finding me too. And that was happening with other coaches and professionals and experts in the health and wellness world. So one day I was saying to my husband, this is really stressful. We're spending so much time, marketing our business and on social media, and not really spending the time with the clients that we want to. Wouldn't it be great if there was a website where the clients could connect with the experts can connect with the clients, and oh, even better, the experts can connect to each other to create a really nice community. And so he said to me, so do it. And I did. And that's how Living Healthy List was born.
I absolutely love that. And I so much like that and know from my own experience, I just did it, right? Because I am that type of person. I just do things. And you're like me, an A-type personality. You just do things, right? And I love that about you. And that's why you are here, right? Because we are
Thank you. Yes.
definitely connecting here. And I also like me as a coach, I do know about the challenges, to find a client and get found. Well, I'm in a lucky position. I have a wait list nowadays, but I worked very hard to get there, right? And I know how it is. So
Right.
I love it, love it, love it. And maybe I even gonna be on your list one day. Now tell me a little
I
bit. You
would love that.
mentioned Living Healthy List. I obviously checked it out before our interview and I know about, but tell those attending shortly what it is and what is the method behind.
Sure. What I set out to do with Living Healthy List is to provide honest, reliable, unbiased, and research backed information in those areas: health, wellness, personal development, and fun. Because whether you are knowledgeable in health and wellness or just starting out, there's a lot of information on the internet that is really hard to sift through. There's a lot of sales pages, there's a lot of buy my stuff, buy my product, do this, buy this quickly, this is going to work. But how do you really know if a product is going to work, if it's good for you, or if the coach or expert that you happen to find online is the right one for you without actually kind of checking it out? Kind of like, so what Living Healthy List does in a way is helps you kind of test drive before you buy, so to speak. So on the website, you will find our blog posts. So we have 30 different experts right now. We have 30 experts in various areas of health and wellness. And every month they put together a blog post or an interview or a video that helps you with whatever that question is that you have. So, and then what we do every month is we take those blog posts and we actually make them into an online magazine. And so you can go on our website, you can read the individual blog posts, you can read them in magazine form. Additionally, you can connect with the experts right from the website. Each of them has a profile page so you can read about them. Many of them have a little video there. So you can really understand, who this person is before you connect with them. And I think that's really an important piece. On the one hand, you're getting the information that you're looking for, but then you have that next step. You have that connection with an expert or 30 to choose from, and people who have literally been curated. That's why I call myself a curator, is because I actually handpick the experts that join and participate at Living Healthy List. I think it's really important to know the person, to get to know the person. I do interviews, and interestingly, at this stage, each one of the experts, we are 1 degree of separation. So I either know them, have done business with them myself, or they're a 1 degree referral from one of those people. So literally, we are all connected.
Beautiful. So this, of course, will help people who are having craving issues or emotional eating or just need to improve their health. Now, of course, why I invited you is, for one thing, is our summit here is all about what are you really craving and how people are struggling with losing weight and overcoming their cravings. I, of course, believe there are better ways, and I wanted to have your input in here. So, what problem do you see happening today in the weight loss and health industry in terms of cravings and emotional eating?
I think one of the hardest things when it comes to weight loss and dieting is that there are so many options. There are I can't even imagine how many different companies that will give you, take this shake, try this pill. There are so many different options, and most of them are not food-based options. Some of them are, but many of them are not. And they're kind of, I think, those quick fixes. If you're going to a party or a wedding and you want to drop 5 pounds quickly, those kind of work for those situations. But if you're looking to lose weight or to maintain a healthy weight, the way to do that is by eating real food.
Mhm.
And I go back to this all the time. Eat real food is the basis of who we are. It's our nutrition, it's our energy. So when we eat real food, mostly, and I do say mostly plants. I'm not plant-based, I'm not vegetarian, but I do think that if we have a more plant-focused diet, we do get the nutrition that we need and the energy that our body craves. And it helps us to feel better. So if you're eating real food and not taking full food groups out of your diet, out of what you normally eat, there's not a lot to crave. Now, of course, sugar is one of those things that many of us crave because there's sugar in so much of the products that we buy on at the supermarket. Those products, though, are not the real food. Those are kind of those supplemental once in a blue moon foods. But I think what's happened in our culture is those type of foods have become the norm. And so our taste buds have gotten to a point where if it's not really super sweet or really super salty, we don't taste the food. So when we go back to eating real food, whole, like I said, plants, whole grains, beans, legumes, lean meats, and fatty fishes. I'm a big fan of eating salmon, once a week, mostly because, we know that it has some omega-3s and it does have some brain health benefits as well as our physical health. When we focus on those foods, then there's not a lot left to crave. You're full, you stay fuller longer. And if you're full, you really don't have cravings. Sure, every now and then, and I know I'm guilty of this, I love a piece of chocolate. But I like to have a piece of chocolate maybe after dinner, sometimes after lunch. And one piece goes a long way. Now, of course, I wasn't always at that point when I was younger. Yeah, sure, a whole candy bar, sure. Maybe I ate 2 of them in a day. But you can do that when you're 20. You can't do that when you're 50.
True. And even in your 20s, I think nowadays a lot of people are a little bit more aware, and that's the awareness we are creating here as well, right?
Absolutely.
And I would love for our attendees to comment either here in the comments on this website or in the Facebook group as well, to share a little bit what you are craving. Maybe there's some special food or so that you're craving or something else. Because very often I find out working with my clients is there's also something else they're craving, right? Of course, food is one side, but there is something else. So there might be some other areas. So what do you think, Denise, that people are craving? And as I said, for the attendees, please share in the comments or in the Facebook group what you're craving.
I think if it's not food that people are craving or specific foods, I think sometimes we are so busy in our lives that we stop planning. We stop planning our meals. We stop thinking about, what are we going to have each week? And then everything becomes, oh my gosh, I didn't take anything out for dinner. And we run out to, the takeout restaurant. We go to Pizza Hut or we go to McDonald's. And I think people start to think that they crave those things. But I honestly think that those are crutches. They're easy, they're quick. And so if we step back and plan our meals, and this is kind of where so let me step back a second. When I talk about real food, I also talk about the Living Healthy List method, which there's 3. Eat real food, make good decisions, and then be accountable. So I think this make good decision piece is the menu planning. I'm not saying that you have to, prepare everything for the week, but if you have an idea on Sunday night what you're going to have for dinner, for lunch, the whole week, having that plan makes it a lot easier. And I think if you have a plan, then those daily stepping stones are so much simpler. You can make a good decision because you've already thought about it. You've already made that decision on Sunday. And so on Monday, when you get home, you've already thought, oh, I'm going to have chicken for dinner. Hopefully you've taken it out. And that's kind of where an Instapot comes in really handy.
Oh, I see. Right.
So I think that's really, when we think that we're craving, I think we're craving time. And I think that's really where these fast food restaurants and popping out for a takeout, I think that's really what that fulfills, is we're craving time to spend with other people, spending time just relaxing, just being, instead of go, go, go all the time.
I absolutely love and adore that. And, especially today, during the difficult times we've been going through over the last year or so, time is definitely something that has changed completely how we think about time, right? And like you mentioned, social contacts, often not being able, to meet coworkers or be with our families or friends or whatever. And there is a lot of craving happening around, having that time to spend it in a good way. And I like that, absolutely. So true. And, making good decisions. I am also all about the planning. I believe that, by planning your day to day interactions, what you're eating, what you're doing, your lifestyle, how you spend your day at work or at home, and writing it down and taking the time the week in advance or the day in advance or whatever it is, it just takes out the overwhelm of things, right? Because we are so occupied with, "Oh, what should I eat? What can I eat? What can't I eat?" Hearing often this from my clients, I'm sure you do the same. It
Absolutely.
just is tiring. And it
Mhm,
makes that we are constantly wondering, and that takes away our time, right?
mhm.
You mentioned
Exactly.
something else. So you have the three pillars: eat real good, real food. Sorry. So you mentioned that already. Make
Mhm.
good decisions, and the third one: be accountable. So tell me more about it.
Be accountable. Now, none of us are perfect. We're never going to eat perfect. We're never going to plan perfectly. Things happen in life. And even with the best plans, sometimes, they all kind of go out the window. Um, the be accountable piece is to accept that when those things happen, not beat ourselves up about it, but also not blame someone or something else for the event. So, okay, so you ended up having to work late one night for whatever reason, life was stressful, there was something happening at work, and you get home and it's 8 o'clock at night, no one's eaten. So what do? By the time you make dinner, it could be 9 o'clock, and that's pretty late. So on your way home, you stop and you grab a pizza. And so you have pizza on Tuesday night at 8:30 at night. Again, probably not something you would do on a regular basis, but the be accountable piece is to say, okay, this is what happened. This was my role in it. This was my decision. I decided to stop and get pizza for reasons, and accept those, not beat yourself up about it. And then the next day, make it right. The next meal, the very next meal, you get back on track. And so that be accountable piece is, you have to own it, whatever it is. Sometimes I know we're going to my niece's graduation next month, and I know there's going to be cake there. Am I going to not have a piece of cake at my niece's graduation? Of course I'm going to have a piece of cake. But one piece of cake, that's plenty. Now, if I have two pieces of cake, now I'll be there all weekend. If I have two pieces of cake, okay, one, I've made that decision and I need to own it
Yeah.
and be okay with it. And then say, okay, you've had your two pieces of cake, get back on track, and then move forward. And again, I think this helps also when it comes to cravings, because if that cake is there and I'm going, nope, I'm not going to eat that piece of cake, I'm not even going to have a piece of cake. How much now do I actually want that piece of cake? Because I said I can't have it. So when I talk about eat real food, there really is that 80-20, 90-10 rule, where if you're eating real food and you're eating the best nutrition possible 80 to 90% of the time, 10 to 20% of the time is just life. It's just living. What would life be? What would a birthday be without a birthday cake?
I
So,
couldn't agree better with this. Absolutely. And I like to have in general in life, an 80-20 or 90-10 rule or so, that yes, most of the time when I'm at home, I eat healthy, I walk my talk, I do everything, the sleep, the stress management, do some exercises. But when I am, on holiday or I go out for a special dinner or so, I allow myself to have that pizza or that cake or whatever. But usually I would order the pizza and share it with my husband, and order a salad that I share with my husband or whatever it is, right? So I don't go overboard. And if
mhm,
it really happens, I mean, it doesn't add to it just beating myself up, right? I get back on track, get back on the horse, and continue with what I was doing the day before. And it's all okay. And I learn out of my experience, and I
mhm.
plan better for next time.
Absolutely. And you make a very good point. You and your husband, if you have that pizza, you share it and you have it with a salad. And that's exactly what my husband and I do. And I think that is something that more people need to incorporate into going out, because more often than not, you go out to dinner and you get this big plate of whatever it is, and it could feed two or three people. And what happens while it's sitting there in front of you? More than likely, you eat the whole thing.
Okay.
And if you shared it, you would have half, so half the calories. Um, and if that's not possible, one of the best things to do is to just right away, put half of it in a to-go box. I know it doesn't look great. People kind of look at you like, why is she doing that? But it's not about them, it's about you and what helps you to stay on track, to keep those cravings away. And the nice thing about doing that too is then you have another meal that you don't have to think about later in the week.
Absolutely. I also recommend that to my clients in general and do the same if really, and I find it so interesting because in the last 10 years, the portion sizes in America have increased by 40%, roughly. No reason, really. Nothing, nothing that changed, but just increase and increase. So you don't need so much actually, right?
Right, and it doesn't seem like they've increased the portion size on the vegetables.
No.
It's all the other stuff.
Rather not. So I must say you find a little bit more vegetarian or vegetable options or healthy options on most menus nowadays.
You do. That
I
is true.
must say I do see that. So a good idea is also, speaking of some, practical, I like always to bring in practical things, is to go really onto the menu of the restaurants you go.
Mhm.
And we spoke earlier about planning, right? And plan and
Right.
write down already what you're going to order. Write it down on a piece of paper or have it in your phone or so, then you're more likely to stick actually to what you are planning to eat versus choosing wildly something.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think on Living Healthy List, I have a pamphlet that actually will help people to do that. Like when they go, if they're going to an Italian restaurant, to choose kind of this instead of that type of. I think that's the way it's written, and it's really helpful to think of these things ahead of time. Like you said, if you're going to an Italian restaurant, you can eat very healthy Italian or you can eat really heavy Italian. And when you plan ahead and look at the menu, it's so much simpler because when you get there and you look at all of the food as it's walking by you, your eyes kind of pop out of your head and you're like, I want that. Oh no, I want that. And then if you hadn't thought ahead of time, planned ahead of time, all of those things take over. Your eyes are always bigger than your stomach, and it really takes away from the planning piece or the thought process about eating healthy
I
or
fully
eating
agree.
healthier.
I fully agree. I live in Italy, so our restaurants were closed for some time, but now they're finally open. We can at least eat outside, and we're taking a little bit advantage because we were so hungry for just going out, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, going back there, it's dangerous, and I see it, but I do walk my talk there, and it goes pretty well, I must say. Just being, mindful about what I want to eat. It's a choice. I have a choice, and for me, nourishing my body is really far more a choice than punishing it with the wrong foods, right? Because I pay the price after all. What other particular struggles have you noticed when maybe it comes from people trying to address their weight issues or emotional eating?
I think with weight issues, people get, especially women of a certain age, they kind of get to the point where they've tried everything, or they think they've tried everything because they've tried every diet under the sun, every product under the sun. Um, and going back to eating real food, the simplicity of it doesn't make sense to them because it's just too easy. It almost doesn't make sense. How can, eating chicken and rice, brown rice and veggies, how can that be eating this, having a shake 3 times a day, and a diet pill, those things, they're supposed to work, and they do short term. And I think that's where people who want to lose weight really struggle, is they've done these things and they've yo-yoed constantly. And I think the problem, as you get older, the more you've yo-yoed, the more your body actually holds onto that, onto the fat and the extra weight. And that I think is really stressful for women, because if they just ate normal, like real food, just ate a healthy, balanced meal or diet on a regular basis, they wouldn't be struggling so much. Would weight loss be slower? Possibly. But because they wouldn't have that, 5 pounds in 3 days, which most of the time is water weight anyway. But it's that number on this scale. We are so trained to look at the scale, step on the scale every day. Why would you step on the scale every day? But women do. And some men too, because I do know I have some friends who, male friends in the past, who have really gotten to a point where they've needed to lose a significant amount of weight, and struggled. So it's not just women; men have these struggles too. But again, it's that, that quick fix. They're looking for that quick fix, and they've done that time and time again, and it's worked. They've lost 5 pounds or they've lost 10 pounds, but then gained it back. And so, in essence, drinking a shake 2, 3 times a day is easy. Eating real food is simple. It's not necessarily easy because, one, you have to plan, you have to go food shopping, and you have to prepare it. So I think eat real food is simple, but I think for many people, it's the fact that they have to shop for it, they have to plan it and then prepare it. Um, that the struggle really is they want simplicity, but the simplicity piece with the shakes and the diet pills, they're temporary.
Absolutely. And I would love to know from the attendees of our Food Freedom Festival to know, what are your struggles? So write them down in the comments and share your struggles with eating healthy, eating real food, staying on track, things Denise mentioned today that are so important to actually have a long-term solution, not just a quick yo-yo dieting fix or one size fits all cookie cutter approach or so, which we see out there so much. And just by going back to basics, I think that's the message I'm hearing today is so important. So I want to be sure people can take away something there so they can continue the journey after our talk and implement it. You gave amazing, amazing tips already here, Denise. And I'm sure everybody was writing down and maybe writing in your workbooks as well, what tips you have taken away, what you will implement. But I know you have an amazing gift for everybody here. What is it?
I am offering to everybody that is participating in the summit. It's my program called Reconnect to Health. We have been so disconnected with food and our health for so long that this program, it is a 6-week program. It is self-paced, but it includes your 6 weeks of menus and recipes, the shopping list. So very, very simple. You take the shopping list, go to the store, and easy peasy, very simple. It also includes a success guide. So I want you to read the success guide first. We do a couple of days of prep ahead of time. You never want to just kind of jump into something. So we do have a couple of days of prep built in. Additionally, some of the extra benefits in this program that you will get, there's an exercise portion. Movement is so important when it comes to your overall health and wellness. So we don't want to forget that. So there's that piece in there as well. Additionally, I have included a program that I've been running for a couple of years called the 5 Dinners in an Hour framework. And essentially what this course does is it literally teaches you how you can easily prepare in 1 hour, maybe a little more than an hour when you first start, is to prepare 5 dinners. So on a Sunday, in an hour, you can prepare 5 meals that you can eat the rest of the week. So 1 hour on Sunday, and you can eat healthy, delicious food all week long, never have to think about it again. So those are the pieces to reconnect to health that I am offering for everyone just for participating.
Great, that's amazing. And we will also have the first program you mentioned is that we're going to have this in our VIP program, especially. So for those who are signing up for our VIP program, Denise has a really, really special gift. I'm going to take a little pause because we will have to cut here. And now, Denise, I'm really glad that you're going to that you're going to share with us an amazing gift with our guests here, which is called Framework to Create 5 Dinners in 1 Hour and Eat Healthy All Week Long. Thank you so much for sharing that. We will have to cut there a little bit, just saying, because the one is
Yep.
for
Sorry.
it. Don't worry, it's fine. That's we catch it up. Right. Let me take a breather. So, Denise, thank you so much for sharing that gift. It's really, really amazing. So, I wonder for our attendees, Denise has been sharing so many things. What was the most valuable thing that you learned today from our talk? And what is the one thing you can implement right now? So, remember, write it in the comments and also in your workbook so you can take action. Because in the end, right, Denise, it's all about taking action. Listening
Absolutely.
is cheap, right? We all can do that. But those who are taking actions are really those who are seeing the real results. And I believe really in small steps, starting with small steps and being consistent, right? And that's definitely all the difference there. So, Denise, where can people find out more? You talked already, but maybe just share with us where they can find you on the web.
Sure, please. We'd love to have you visit our website at Living Healthy List, like your shopping list.com. You can also find me on Facebook at Living Healthy List and on Instagram and also on LinkedIn.
Great. And now quickly, I know you recently launched a new product, the Living Healthy List Academy. Tell me quickly, what is that?
Oh yes, I'm so excited. So Living Healthy List Academy is what I think of as kind of college 101 programs. So it is a platform, an educational platform to find out what it is that, to work on whatever it is that you need help with, whether it's you need a health program or you're looking for better your relationships. Each of our experts has included their evergreen program or one of their programs on Living Healthy List Academy. And so you can really, again, test drive before you decide to work with a specific coach. On Living Healthy List Academy, you literally can work with the coach before you actually work with a coach on a one-on-one basis.
Love that. And that, of course, can work for emotional eating and for cravings and everything
Absolutely.
that might people have here.
Mhm.
Now, I have a personal question for you, Denise. What are
Sure.
you really craving right now?
I am really craving family time.
Mm.
My family lives on the East Coast. I live here in Minnesota, and it's been almost a year since I got a chance to really spend time with my sister and my niece and my nephew, my brother-in-law. And I saw my mom at Christmas. But again, it's really hard. This has been really tough with COVID, and so I'm really craving that time with my family.
I am so with you. I literally just this morning, I brought back my daughter to the airport. She came to visit me from Germany. And it was beautiful because last time I saw her was last year. Yeah, a little bit less than a year ago, but almost a year ago. So I was very happy to have seen her. It was far too short, but hey, better
Always
than
is.
nothing. Any
Yeah.
last words you want to share?
Last words. Yeah, I think it's really important. You are the most important person in your life. And what matters to you is the most important. If it matters to you, it should matter to the people around you. But let them know what it is that you want, what matters to you, and then they can support you. Too often we try to do this alone. And when we do it alone and we feel isolated and sad and with other people, with the support of others, you will accomplish whatever it is. If it's losing weight, if it's getting rid of the cravings, ask for help, ask for support, and you're going to do great.
Couldn't agree better with that. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Denise, for being here. I loved our talk. It was really great chatting and sharing your amazing knowledge and expertise with the listeners here. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.